What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel, and UFL Season 2 is almost here. Now, is the game perfect? No, far from it. But here's the thing. We cannot have 3 football games out and only give all the love to one. So, UFL Season 2, we are going to grind it out with a little bit of a change in, I would call it a mindset change. We know there's going to be the rats, right? We know there's going to be a lot of glitches and nonsense, exploits, whatever the case, that need to be fixed, that alter the game, not in the favor of the more skilled player. However, we're going to get past that. We're going to play and compete and try to do the best, but not worry about all the nonsense we can't control, right? You make a pass, it doesn't go in the direction you intended because of some nonsense, with the game, coding or whatever, just the state of the game. Oh, well, you can't control that. You play some rat that's constantly using this exploit and that exploit. You can't control that. Move past it. You play somebody that sticks 8 players in the box and you have 22 shots and you can't score. They win 1-0 because they did an exploit one time on the other end. Is that infuriating? Yes, but you can't control it. So with that being said, we're going to go with either the 4-2-2, right, or the 4-4-2 holding. The difference, there's only one, would be in a 4-2-2, right, you have, instead of a left mid and a right mid, you have 2 cams. In the 4-4-2 holding, you have a left mid and a right mid. The reason I'm going with the 4-4-2 holding is simple. I had my 4-2-2, but I got the Traore green skin, so I had to switch because it is just way too overpowered not to use. Not to mention, the 4-4-2 holding is just as effective. There's a slight difference in how wide the wing midfielders are, even though with the settings you can adjust that. But I would say just with the 4-2-2, those wing mids are a little wider than your cams, right? But I'll show you how we make it right, how we want it, where those wing players or wide players are working the seams between the center backs and the wing backs. So, as you see here, it is a very effective formation, and the biggest key to this is in the attack with the 2-striker setup. You know me from the past, or if you don't, I can tell you, I don't typically in UFL like a 2-striker setup where they're sitting flat, but with this current meta, it makes the most sense because those 2 strikers, you're working the ball to them usually from out wide, and then you're working between those 2 to throw off your the opponent's defense as they're trying to take the ball or even just block your shot, right? So a lot of times they will come in from the wings. You pass it back and forth between those 2 strikers. Sometimes you got to reset and go out wide or one of your 2 CDMs even. But almost always the ball will end up back between one of your 2 strikers, maybe even working together to get that open shot and preferably a goal. The most popular way to score, or one of the most OP ways, is a first-time fake shot receive, which you should be doing all over the field. It's just OP. It really helps you keep the fluidity of your dribbling, get you to a good transition to dribble or even to make a pass, right? And then the next touch, if it's in between your 2 strikers, you have an open lane, is to shoot the ball because, again, it's OP. It almost triggers an animation and makes the shot next to unsavable for the goalkeeper, as you'll see many times in these highlights, including here. You see we steal the ball from the opponent. You see it's out wide. Bad pass into the striker by me, but he makes a bad pass. We get it back. First time, fake shot into a touch. I actually took an extra touch there, but nonetheless, a goal. It's usually going to look like that, only that extra touch is kind of a rarity. But how do we get to those chances? We use, like I said, the 4-2-2 or 4-4-2. So let's go into the tactics. Starting with our defensive style, we're going with balance. I try press after possession loss and press on heavy touch. If I was going to go between those 2, I would go press on heavy touch. I would say press after possession loss. It is good. You do put pressure on your opponents, but we're preparing for those tough games, and the good opponents will take advantage of your players being pulled out of position to pressure. Stay in your shape, right? This setup has a very good defensive shape, especially with the back 4 and the 2 CDMs, and even the wing mids or cams, depending if you're in the 4-2-2 or 4-4-2 holding, coming back to help out. So you want to go defensive style balanced, right? If for some reason you feel like that's not enough pressure, absolutely you can go for press on heavy touch or press after possession loss. Just get ready for 1, a quicker stamina drain, so you're going to have to sub quicker, and 2, get ready for your players to be pulled out of position a bit. Next, depth of defense, we go with a balanced 5 depth. This is good enough to have your team in a good shape, not too far back, right? But not too far up where your opponent can utilize over-the-top through balls on you. And after that, we go width of defense. You want 1. You want your defenses close together defensively, then you open up offensively. Simply put, you're trying to block out any gaps, any holes your opponent can play through. Moving on to your attacking style, we are going balanced. You want your team staying in their shape even when you win the ball, playing the ball to feet, then laying it off and triggering runs from there. You do not want your players taking off running away. The opponent will be able to easily step in front and intercept the ball. That's just the current meta. Balance, play to feet, then lay back the ball and make runs from there. The setup of this 4-4-2 or even the 4-2-2, it works out perfectly for that, right? So say I have the ball with Dumfries, I play to Traore's feet, who then can play into Tchouameni's feet as I trigger the run from the pass. Traore takes off, I play it into Ronaldo, who lays it to Traore, or maybe playing to Ronaldo. They're worried about Traore, and then I play into Son's feet for a shot. Right? There's a million different sequences like that, but you want balance because you don't want your players running away from the ball. They stay in their form, in their shape, they receive it, and make runs from there. Now, players in the box, we go back to 5. That's just historically the number that I use. Corner kicks are back to working out, right? Now, it works better if you have, say, a Haaland or maybe a taller player. Even though Ronaldo is very good at headers and will score his fair share, he is not the ideal, like, super tall player, and there will be center backs that win them over him because in UFL, height matters. As dumb as it is, it should be technique. It should be, your ability to jump as much as your heading ability, but it is what it is. For this number, we go with 5. And last but not least, width of attack, it's on 1. This is the same whether you're in a 4-2-2 or a 4-4-2 because you have enough width just in the setup of the formation alone, right? You want it narrow because you want those wide midfielders or cams working in the seams, as I call it, between the center backs and the wing backs. That's where you want them attacking because it will bring your opponent's attention there and will open up more space for your 2 strikers. Moving on to player roles, keeper we do not touch, balance and passive behavior always. Center back, same thing, we do not touch. Don't cross halfway line, holding position and situational. They're fine how they are. Nothing else needs to be said about that. Now to our wing backs. For both the left and right back, you want attacking with close to the sideline. You want them pushing out wide to be a passing option. Attack support is don't cross the halfway line. Defensive style is holding your position and pass interception situational. So in summary, you just want your wingbacks staying in that defensive position unless you manually push them forward either on the dribble or you can trigger them from a pass, right? Almost like from a give and go, and they can move forward from that. But unless you trigger them, they're staying put in their defensive shape, in line with the center backs. As for your 2 CDMs, you want attack support, don't cross halfway line. Crosses into the box, hold your position. Defensive style, hold your position. And pass interception situational. These 2 players spearhead your defense, which is why you want 2 CDMs and not CMs. It's why we go with the 4-4-2 holding or the 4-2-2, which has them as CDMs. The 2 CMs, they're almost in no man's land, which isn't good for the current meta. In the CDM position, they will be the first 2 players that, typically speaking, encounter the opponents when they're trying to start an attack. A lot of times they can snuff out the attack, and if not, they can provide back pressure to prevent your opponents, especially from getting the ball in those dangerous areas up in front of the goal. As for your 2 cams, or if you're in a 4-4-2 holding instead of the 4-2-2, your left and right midfielders, you want attacking style, balanced, attacking with close to the middle, crosses into the box, make yourself available for crosses. Defensive support is balanced. Pass interceptions, situational. You don't want attacking runs because you want your players staying in position, getting the ball to their feet, then triggering the runs. You want them close to the middle because you want your wing players or your cams working in the seams between the wing backs and the center defenders. And last but not least, for the defensive support, you want balance, but if you go up a goal, you're trying to hold a lead, maybe you put them on drop back. If you're down and you need them to be more attacking, maybe you put them at stay up front. Balance to start, though, it's a perfect setup to where they'll stay in position like you want them, and then you can trigger their runs from there. As for your strikers, there's 2 different setups, right? For me, my Ronaldo, it doesn't matter which side they're on either, but my Ronaldo will be attacking style, attacking runs, defensive support, stay up front, and pass interception situational. I want him, especially with his skin and all that speed, stretching out the defense. Then, for my other striker, I have Son. He is on the left side for me. Again, sides don't matter, but he will be on attacking style, short pass, defensive support, stay up front just like Ronaldo, and then pass interception situational. And the reason why he's on short pass instead of attacking runs is because it's kind of a push-pull thing. I want Ronaldo stretching the defense. I want Son coming to, hopefully receiving the ball to the feet. If he has a chance to shoot, great. He's one of the best finishers in the game. If he can get a finesse shot off, perfect. If not, we have the defense trying to mark two different types of runs, and then from there, Ronaldo could either come back to the ball and work with Son, or Son could then work with the wing midfielders, and we build up from there. But you want one stretching out the defense, one coming to. It just is a more dynamic setup, and it will make the defensive side harder for your opponent. Again, the key to this setup is your two strikers working together. That is the pinnacle of this formation. But defensively, with the two CDMs, that is the key there. Those two CDMs as opposed to two CMs or even three CMs, they close down that gap. And with the way the meta is, the way the game plays out, it is so important to have those two CDMs there to help break up the attack. Because you see this area right here is the danger zone. Right there, my opponent gets lucky to block. Maybe I shouldn't even have shot there, and that's where the two strikers working together is so important. You can't just receive the ball to the striker and shoot. Many times it will be blocked, especially as you face better opponents, especially even more when you face players that are packing the back line with bodies, right? It's just a more likelihood that you're going to have a shot blocked. So, as you see here, we're working the ball back and forth. I play a beautiful through ball there. We hit the post. Again, it's one of those glitches. You can't control it. You just got to move on. And we were able to still capitalize a well-earned goal, even with the post hit. But you seen the defense was worried about us playing passes to feet back and forth. Then I change it up. Boom, through ball. We score from it. Other times, you're just going to play back and forth. You're going to do that first time fake shot receive, which you got to implement until they remove it, because hopefully they do. It's a broken, play. However, while it's in the game, first time shot receive, go to the other direction. You'll send the defender guessing, right, and then shoot the ball when you're in place to shoot. That's where the two strikers working together give you the best chance to have an open shot after that first time fake shot receive. So there you have it. Take this setup out onto the pitch. Let me know how you do with it. A lot more coming in Season 2. We know, again, not a perfect game, but we are going to make the best of it. I'm going to give you everything you need to know to find the most success in UFL Season 2. So, get ready to grind, get ready to have fun, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.